Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes.
Let's
go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
After Canelo's recent victory against Edgar Berlanga, Terrence Crawford has once again reaffirmed his desire for a fight at 168. While Canelo might not be too thrilled about this fight, as during his recent interview at the Cigar Talk, Canelo emphasized that the main priority at this point in his career is to organize the fights that will not only have some significant impact on his legacy but will also prove to be the most profitable, including the potential rematch between him and Dimitri Bivol. Talking about Crawford, even though the 36-year-old boxer has great skills, Canelo said that he is still to many weight classes below him. This is an important thing to think about, especially in a combat sport like boxing where strength and size are very important.
You know, everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, no? Terrence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's weight classes for a reason.
Now this might not be the first time that Canelo has brought up the subject of the sheer difference in the weight class between him and Bud, as a few days ago leading up to his bout with Berlanga, Canelo gave some rather controversial statements about how if one day this fight does end up taking place, it will be easy money for him.
Why not? Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in. Because, you know, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So if the money is right.
Making his position clear, Canelo said that Terrence's last fight, at 154 pounds, against Israel Madam, showed that he was having a hard time, even though he was the better fighter. He also said that Terrence shouldn't make the big jump to 168 pounds to fight the best fighter in that weight class. Canelo also said that Terrence is a slow boxer who doesn't move around much, which is not something that Canelo likes in his opponents.
They are a weight class for a reason, and you need to ask him. It's different. I know in his mind he think he can do whatever he wants because he's very talented fighter. He's a very good fighter. I like how he fight, but that's why there are weight classes. And he knows now.
He knows now. You think he felt that?
Canelo's reasons for turning down this fight don't make sense to Terrence Crawford, who seems thrilled at the thought of it. He has been looking forward to this chance for a long time. Terrence stated how Canelo's statements are nothing but absurd excuses because he has fought fighters much smaller than him before in his career, including Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Yoel Charlo, who, despite being excellent fighters in their own regards, were significantly smaller and weaker than him. Terrence also said that a fight between him and Canelo would make a lot more money than all of these other fights put together. But Canelo is turning down the deal like a coward because he doesn't want to lose his credibility.
Canelo been making his own catch weight for years. You know, Canelo fought a smaller Mayweather. Canelo fought a smaller not Amir Khan, but Amir Khan.
Yeah, he did. He did at 155.
Amir Khan. You know, he fought Jamel Charlo, and I'm pretty sure he didn't make as much money with all those guys except Mayweather, even Berlanga right now, that he will with me. But yet and still, you know, he have all these excuses why he don't want to take a fight with me.
During his most recent showing at the UFC event at the Sphere, which happened on the same night as the Canelo vs. Berlanga fight, Terrence said again that he wanted to fight Canelo and even called it the best fight in modern boxing history.
Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight in boxing. Let's get ready for the main event, y'all. But we stay ready, though. We stay ready. That way we don't gotta get ready.
Thank you. Torki Alalshik, one of the key people who helped put together this UFC event. Torki Alalshik agreed with Terrence and told Canelo that he should accept the offer, saying that even an experienced fighter like Canelo is too good to pass up.
We're here at the Sphere, feel me? What you doing next?
We want the Nanches.
Tell him we going to Canelo next.
Yes.
Let's
go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that Turkey might have failed to consider here was that the other main reason that Canelo rejected this offer was because of the refusal of His Excellency to negotiate the terms with Canelo's team according to his demands of $150 million, which many at that time considered ludicrous, including Turkey, who then went on a rampage on social media disregarding Canelo as a serious fighter. However, adamant on his demands in countless interviews, Canelo has stated that he is not quite keen about the methods employed by His Excellency, and if they were ever to talk about a potential Crawford fight, then it would be based on his ideas of business, not that of Turkey, as they are more focused on their gains rather than the fighters that they are dealing with.
I don't like the way he talk, and I'm not in this position because of any. I'm in this position if he wants to work with me, it's in my way, not in their way.
During his recent post-fight press conference after his unanimous decision victory over Berlanga, it appears this attitude has not changed because Canelo still refrained from entertaining any business offers made by Turkey or his team, most probably indicating how he is still not on good terms with the Saudi giant based on the continuous negative comments that Turkey has made leading up to this point.
Tonight, Terrence Crawford was Turkey Al-Sheikh at the other event across town. Put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turkey Al-Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terrence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comments.
Meanwhile, despite this fight still not being under any official consideration from either side, the boxing community appears to be eager for this bout, including countless notable experts and analysts who are sharing their opinions about the possible outcomes of this bout after witnessing Canelo's outstanding performance against Berlanga. Esteemed reporter and analyst Jim Lampley addressed certain opinions about how, over time, Canelo's age might be hindering him during his fight. According to Jim, even though this might be the case for many fighters who are past a certain age, this does not apply to Canelo, as he has once again showed how no matter who his opponent is, he still manages to get an upper hand using his immaculate boxing IQ and experience.
I didn't have enough craft to take advantage if, in fact, there was any slippage there. So, no, I'm not going to say that. I think Canelo will be close to the end whenever he decides he's close to the end. As long as he's motivated, Chepo and Eddie are motivated, their lives all stay in order, he lives the way he lives.
Mentioning the potential of a fight with Crawford, Jim appeared somewhat enthusiastic about this, stressing how, based on the most recent performance displayed by both fighters in their respective fights, Terrence is nowhere near the size requirement to take on Canelo Alvarez at 168. He also added that even though Canelo shows no signs of slowing down with age, that might not be the case for Crawford, as during his last fight with Matt he looked rather slack and weak compared to the fighter that he once was.
I am more than ever concerned that he's not big enough, and not big enough to be able to move around the ring and muscle Canelo in the way that he would have to ward off those really vicious inside power shots. I might have thought a few months ago that I would give Crawford a logical chance to win the fight. He is the most skilled pound-for-pound fighter in the world, but I just don't think he's big enough and strong enough to take on Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. And so far, Crawford is 154-pound fighter who's only been to 154 pounds once.
Based on the fact that it will be a good fight in terms of its commercial success, Jim seems to favor Canelo in this fight but still thinks that this is not wise for a fighter like Crawford, as there is a very slim chance that he can come out of this fight with a victory.
To favor Canelo to win the fight, even though there's certainly not the kind of skill gap that we saw here tonight. Crawford is an amazingly skillful fighter. Maybe that could make up a lot more of the gap, but I would still have to favor Canelo to win the fight, and I'm not sure I would advise Terrence to do it.
Sharing the same viewpoint as Jim, renowned promoter Eddie Hearn also thinks that the weight difference might finally prove to be Terrence's weak point in this bout, as no matter what strategy he manages to apply inside the ring, Canelo will be able to counter it based on his size. Eddie offers advice to Terrence regarding the possible outcome of this fight. Eddie weighed in on the importance of movement and an effective defense accent for a fighter like Canelo, noting on how it will be important for Terrence to work on these aspects if he wants a chance at winning.
35, 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terrence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat.
Another important fact that Eddie highlighted was how at this stage in his career the main priority for Canelo is to create a legacy by fighting the best of the best. And based on this, there is nothing worth it for him in this fight because even if he wins, people will not give him credit for it. So the only factor that might propel Canelo to consider this offer would be the money.
Crawford on Saturday and was afraid of fighting him at 68. I think for Canelo it's more about the credibility he gets through victory. I think he's a little bit concerned, having spoke to him in the past, that if he beats a guy that's coming up from 147 to 168, is he really going to get the respect for that? So we'll see. I mean, money talks. You know, if it's the right deal, he'll always take the fight.
Danny Garcia, who is a professional fighter and former world champion into weight classes, agreed to the points presented by Eddie on how, at the end of the day, the main concern for any fighter is the profit that they might get from a certain fight, and a fight like this is often hard to get by, so they usually end up accepting such an offer. However, Danny also thinks that despite the allure of a very good deal this time, the fight might prove to be a lot for Terrence, who seems to be undermining the fact that Canelo is not an easy opponent to face no matter the experience or amazing skill set you might possess.
At the end of the day, they're two great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, you know, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, you know, Canelo, he's a big dude. So I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, you know, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, you know, to make the biggest fights and try to be great.
Highlighting another notable factor that might contribute to Canelo's success in his fights, Danny stated that even though most fighters that Canelo chooses to go to are extraordinary and have participated in various important fights before in their careers, they usually end up underperforming when they face the Mexican fighter inside the ring because of the pressure that Canelo exerts on them, not only because of his dominating personality but also because of the enormous public support and fans that come at his fight, which according to Danny is exactly what happened in his fight with Berlanga.
Canelo started his career at 147, then went up to 154 for a long time. Even he's the smaller guy in his weight classes when he fights. You know, but a lot of people don't lose to Canelo, they lose to the event. Because when you fight Canelo, the stage is set for him. Like when I went, I saw J Balvin, I saw fireworks, you know. So you fight him, it's like you fighting in the Super Bowl.
Juan Manuel Marquez, who is not only a legendary fighter but also a former 3-weight world champion, does not seem impressed by the idea of this potential fight based on how the weight difference is too large to consider this fight seriously and how there is no way that Terry could outmaneuver Canelo at 168. Juan stated it would be a good fight, but I don't think it's good for Crawford. For me, I don't like to see the fight, he added. I think it's no good Terrence Crawford looking for the fight with Canelo because Canelo is bigger than him in 3 divisions right now too. As Crawford fought at 154, so did divisions. But I believe the experience and the power of the weight are an advantage for Canelo being someone who has moved up to various weight classes. Juan stated how in a sport like boxing, a fighter shines best in his own weight class, but when they try to be hasty and jump up way beyond their scope, they mostly end up losing the glamour that they once held, recollecting from his days as a professional fighter. Juan said, I think Crawford is a good fighter. You are the best in your division, but when you go to fight in another division, maybe you lose the fight because you lose the power if you go up to another division. Drawing comparisons between this fight and the one between Canelo and Amir Khan way back in 2017, which was Air's first fight at 155 pounds after he moved up to weight classes. Juan pointed out how even though Amir tried to corner Canelo in the earlier rounds by using clever jabs and good footwork, he was still taken down by a single punch, which goes to show how great of a fighter Canelo is.
No, did you saw the fight Canelo-Amir Khan?
Yeah.
What happened in that fight?
Amir was winning the early.
He used his speed, he move on the ring,
and
Canelo knocked him out with one punch.
Yeah.
With one punch.
Amir.
Yes, I know. You're looking for the chick for.
They say like he doesn't have a good chin. Terrence has a good chin.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know what's. And Terrence Crawford needs to make the difference. I don't know why. I don't know. He need to use speed, move on the ring. He need to use everything on the ring.
After looking at all these statements and analyses, there is no question that the majority favors Canelo in this fight, but there still seems to be a certain group that thinks that Crawford is being underestimated in this case and that he might end up surprising everyone. Clarissa Shields, who is part of this minority, thinks that Terrence is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter right now, which makes him superior to Canelo, and the traits that he has attained over the years make him a formidable opponent for anyone. While talking about the weight classes and their importance in boxing, Clarice thinks that for a fighter like Crawford, they don't apply that much because, at the end of the day, he is the better boxer out of the two, which gives him a very good chance to take on a bigger and stronger Canelo.
Crawford. Team Crawford for me.
Rock out with Crawford. It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one, but hey, Canelo, he's number 2 pound. Pound number 1 is Crawford.
Yeah.
And that's skill wise.
Well, Canelo's talking, they make weight classes for a reason.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm all the way at heavyweight. That's because I got the skills, the power, and everything to pay the bills. And Terrence Crawford is twin. He got the skills to pay the bills, the knockout power. He's very smart in there. And man, he's sturdy. Now, the weight class can matter a little bit, but boxing matters.
Also thinks that Bud is the better boxer. Roy Jones Jr. stated that regarding the popular opinion that Canelo will have an easy victory, the truth might be a little different because the only advantage that Canelo has over Terrence right now is his power and size. Adding on to his statements, Roy stressed the fact that most of the time, even if a fighter is extremely powerful and huge, they cannot survive an adversary who is a better boxer than them, which in this case seems to be Crawford.
Canelo can beat Bud. The tough fight to call. I think his size may be his best going factor, but if he goes out and boxes Bud, he's not gonna beat Bud boxing. He's not. So if Bud can take his punch, he's not gonna outbox Bud. So it's like it'll be what would determine the fight would be who wants it most and who has the best fight plan. Because to me, I don't care what they say, if Bud can get Canelo to box him, Bud will outbox him.
So in the end, what do you guys think about Canelo's latest performance? Do you think that it will be enough if he ever decides to fight Terrence Crawford? Or do you think that he is being overconfident about his skills? Or do you think that this might be the fight that finally proves to be the reckoning of Terrence? Bud Crawford, make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe to our channel.